the late summer of 2010, I had finally scrounged up enough money for a pawn shop PS3. At last, I was getting a game I had been waiting on for 2 years, Metal Gear Solid 4. It was the only reason I wanted a PS3. To explain, Metal Gear Solid is a series of stealth action games going back to the 80s, starring an indestructible Special Forces operative that takes down walking nuclear tanks. It also was the spark that ignited my interest in firearms. From the moment I saw Snake aim an HK USP Mark 23, I was hooked. I've dreamt of FAMASas and P90s ever since. But on a warm night in September, while playing my new game, I saw it. A robot gives a withered old Snake a handgun to get him by, and I saw my Eleanor.
An operator.
I had owned a few pistols and even a Mossberg shotgun at this point in my life, but I was still a baby. I didn't understand or know about the legacy of the 1911. It's been 10 years since then, and I have purchased GI models, range officers, even a Taurus PT 1911. I'm not proud of that, but I could just never pull the trigger on this mortgage payment of a gun. That is, until now. The 1911 is outdated. It only holds 7 or 8 rounds, and it weighs as much as a dying sun. But when you shoot the operator, instead of a snap of recoil, you get haptic feedback. Instead of putting small holes in a target, you're hurling slugs of lead downrange. The feeling of its single action trigger is so smooth and easy, it's like squeezing the R2 button. The Trijicon suppressor height sights co-witness the cheat code RMR, and wherever that red dot is, it's hitting. This gun makes you feel like you're playing a video game. Now there are some cons to this gun, but that'll vary from person to person. For example, I have fat stubby hands, so it's a little harder for me to get a good grip around the G10 grips. Someone with larger hands probably won't have that problem. And some people won't like the thumb safety, but personally it doesn't bother me, and it's not that hard to use if you practice with it. The ammo capacity can also be a point of contention, but I'm not really sure why. Wilson Combat makes a 10-round magazine for this gun that is very reliable. And have you ever seen a 45 ACP hollow point? I think 10 of them's fine. Can you get more rounds in a Glock? Yeah. Is the Glock around half the weight? Yup. I could do this all day, but none of this means anything to me. An inconvenient truth is that a factory 67 Camaro is slower than a base model Toyota Camry. But would anyone ever pick the Camry over the Camaro? There are certain shapes, engine noises, grips, and beaver tail safeties that transcend specs and groupings. I'm vain. I don't own certain guns because they're ugly. I love certain guns because they were in my favorite shows, games, and movies. Some guns just make you feel cool. And you know, maybe the Glock is easier for a new shooter to pick up and use, and maybe it's more efficient. But do you know what a Glock doesn't do? It doesn't make me feel like I can take down a motherfucking Metal Gear.